Hello and welcome to the World News on Souq News Television. We are reaching you live from our studios in the city of Lagos. I am Grace Komalafe. Let's bring you some of the top stories. SAC Director General has called for a unified West African regulatory framework to prevent cryptocurrency fraud. Upstream petroleum regulators said Nigeria holds 220 idle oil blocks amid debt. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo foster peace through trade and economic integration. President Trump threatens tariffs on Russia, sends envoy to Moscow for talks. And lastly, on the top stories, the Tigers crushed Mali 78-64 defeat in a record fifth consecutive FIBA Afrobasket women's title. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on the World News, and I will bring you the story in details. The Securities and Exchange Commission has raised alarm over 2.1 billion naira in suspicious cryptocurrency transactions recorded across West Africa in 2024, as reported by Glaba. Speaking at a regional summit in Cape Verde, Securities and Exchange Commission Director General Emomotimi Agama warned of rising criminal exploitation of virtual assets, including terror financing and rogue pollings using privacy coins. He cited unregistered exchanges and artificial crashes as major threats to investor safety, stressing that regulations is now a necessity, not a choice. Agama called for a unified West African regulatory framework to prevent cross-border exploitation by bad actors. He disclosed Nigeria's plan to deploy artificial intelligence for blockchain surveillance and enhance consumer protection. The SEC has also begun a national Ponzi awareness campaign following the collapse of CBEX, with outcry effort already on the way in Abuja and Lagos. The Nigerian Exchange Limited recorded a total equity turnover of 4.19 trillion naira in the first half of 2025, up 61% from 2.60 trillion naira in 2024. The surge was driven by renewed domestic institutional activity and growing foreign investor interest, signaling strong market momentum amid ongoing macroeconomic reforms. Domestic investors led the charge with 72.92% of total transactions, while foreign trade rose 110% year-on-year to 1.14 trillion naira. Despite higher foreign interest, capital outflows slightly exceeded inflows, reflecting lingering repatriation concerns. Institutional investors became more active in June, outpacing retail traders by 14%. Monthly equity activity peaked in March at 1.12 trillion naira due to a spike in foreign trades. While June saw 778.65 billion naira in trades, analysts say deeper reforms and currency stability will be crucial to sustaining market gains in the second half of 2025. And now the Nigerian Foreign Investment Authority has awarded $280,000 in innovation grants to 6 early-stage Nigerian startups operating in agriculture and health tech. The funding is part of its NSIA Prize for Innovation, designed to support scalable solutions that can drive job creation and improve productivity in critical sectors. By targeting local intellectual property and technology commercialization, NSIA is leveraging its sovereign wealth strategy to boost economic diversification. Investors and ecosystem builders view this as a signal of state-backed support for high-impact startups in traditionally underserved segments. And away from that, Nigeria has 220 unlicensed oil blocks across its onshore and offshore basins, worsening its oil revenue gap despite surging national debt and crude supply shortages. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission revealed that the deep offshore accounts for 59 of these blocks, reflecting low exploration in technically challenging regions. Mature zones like the Niger Delta still contain idle assets, while over 3 billion barrels remain blocked in undeveloped licensed fields. With national debt exceeding 149 trillion naira and refineries struggling to secure crude, the government plans to revoke dormant licenses and promote shared development strategies. Although 24 blocks were recently awarded, a broader licensing round expected in 2025 has yet to begin. Authorities urge oil firms to ramp up investment or risk losing undeveloped assets as Nigeria increasingly relies on imports, like 10 million barrels delivered to the Dangote refinery in July. And moving on, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise has called for a special attention to be given to financial services, oil refining, transportation, and livestock sectors of the economy, some of which are currently contracting and in recession as projected by the Reflect $450 billion by year end. This call was made on Sunday in the CPPE's statement in Nigeria's GDP rebasing first quarter 2025 GDP report and sectorial analysis signed by the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Muda Yusuf. The CPPE projected that the GDP could reach an estimated $450 billion year by end if the Nigerian economy progressively recovers from the shocks of the current economic reforms without any major disruptions. Analysts of the latest GDP report indicated that 37 sectors recorded growth. Many, however, slowed. 9 sectors contracted and 3 sectors were in recession as of first quarter 2025. And now artificial intelligence is increasingly transforming how Nigerian startups navigate strict compliance demand from the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit. According to fintech expert Kayode Okpeyemi, AI and regulatory technology RegTech tools are helping streamline complex reporting processes, enhancing suspicious transactions monitoring, and automate know your customer checks, even amid Nigeria's fragmented identity systems. However, Okpeyemi stresses that automation must remain explainable and guided by human oversight to avoid regulatory breaches. While many startups still see compliance as a burden, Okpeyemi insists it is becoming a strategic edge for attracting investors and banking partners. He urges founders to embed compliance early and scale it with growth, warning that failure to do so can cripple even the most promising ventures. Locally developed RegTech solutions, particularly in mobile onboarding and cash-to-digital monitoring, present huge opportunities for innovation in Nigeria's mobile-first, cash-heavy economy. And on the latest housing report has revealed that Lagos rental market is increasingly unaffordable and riddled with unregulated policies, creating uncertainty for tenants and investors. The report released in the 3rd volume of the State of Lagos Housing Market found that high demand across income segments is not being met with matching supply, especially for low and middle income residents. Luxury developments dominate new construction, while affordable housing remains scarce, forcing many into informal settlement or out of the formal market entirely. The study noted that regulatory bottlenecks, unclear land titles, and infrastructure deficits are worsening buyer confidence and distorting supply. As a result, informal housing continues to grow, stressing the city's urban systems. Though new trends like mid-income estates and rent-to-own schemes are emerging, the report stresses that without systemic reforms in planning, finance, and oversight, Lagos's housing market will remain imbalanced and volatile. And now we'll be going on a short break. More stories await you after this time. Please stay with us.
welcome to Femi Walsh Limited, owners of Souq TV Lagos, Our Radio Lagos, Kaswa Radio Kano, and of course, Emirates TV Abuja and Dubai. Our niche market for media is business, economy, and development. At Femi Walsh, we promote your company's products and services using our world-class facilities. From our radio to Souq TV, what you get is nothing but the best of the very best.
And if you're looking for the premium production firm for your events and corporate coverage, think no further, because we offer you the best of industry stuff.
With high-definition cameras ranging from 4K to 8K multicam setups, high-directional microphones, and real-time streaming encoders, we give you a production like none other. And if you're looking to produce podcasts, adverts, and documentaries, our team of experts will ensure that you convey your message clearly and professionally. Femi Walsh, Global Vision, Local Impact. On the 19th of August 2025, Paris will come alive with the prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards taking place at the Gauche Hotel, Paris. The prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards is designed to celebrate governors who have contributed immensely to their states in different countries across the world. If you are a governor who's gone above and beyond to deliver transformative projects in your state and country, then this award is for you. To partake of the Governor's Excellence Awards this year taking place in Paris, all you have to do is send an email to souqnexus.com with the words, "I accept," and we will get right back to you. You can also send a WhatsApp message to the WhatsApp number scrolling on your screen right now. You don't want to miss Paris for anything, and we are looking forward to celebrating you and your achievements this year. So contact Souq Nexus to make that happen.
Thank you for staying tuned. Breaking news reaching us has it that the West African Examination Council WAEC has announced the official release of the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination WAEC result for school candidates. The council, in a statement issued on Monday, August 4 via its official X platform, formerly Twitter, expressed satisfaction in notifying all candidates who sat for the examination that the results are now available online. We will bring you more details of this in a subsequent bulletin. And moving to the next story, Rwanda and Democratic Republic of Congo have finalized a preliminary framework for regional economic integration as part of a broader peace agreement signed in Washington in June. The framework includes cooperation on infrastructure, public health, and mineral supply chains, with both countries affirming sovereign control over resource exploitation and pledging to boost local processing capacity for key minerals like tantalum and cobalt. The deal also prioritized financial for the Ruzizi Hill hydropower project and joint methane gas development from Lake Kivu. Both nations aims to align with the United States-backed Lobito corridor infrastructure and ensure the minerals trade no longer funds armed groups. A joint security coordination meeting is scheduled for August 7 in Addis Ababa for support the framework's implementation. South Africa is intensifying efforts to grow its global trade footprint as it faces a steep 30% tariff on goods entering the United States. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced Monday that the country will scale up trade missions across Africa and beyond, aiming to reduce reliance on the American market. He revealed plans to expand the National Exporter Development Program to support more South African companies in combating export ready. The tariff, part of Washington's sweeping trade revisions under its new reciprocal tariff policy, is expected to hit South African exporters hard. In response, the government is repositioning its trade strategy towards broader regional integration and diversification. Ramaphosa emphasized that the shift will not only protect South African jobs, but also deepen intra-African trade ties in line with African Continental Free Trade Area agenda. And away from that, Turkey's annual inflation rate unexpectedly slowed to 33.5% in July, down from 35.1% in June, providing support for the central bank's decision last month to resume interest rate cuts. The latest figures came in lower than medium forecast of 34.1%, signaling easy price pressures in a volatile economic environment. This inflation surprise is likely to pave the way for further rate reductions as policy makers aim to revive domestic demand and support growth. Economists say the softer than expected data strengthens the case for continued monetary easing in the coming months, despite lingering currency and external balance risks. And Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has cautioned that despite the recently signed trade agreement with the United States being mutually beneficial, its execution may prove significantly more difficult than the negotiations itself. Speaking before Parliament on Monday, Ishiba urged continued legislative and public support, acknowledging rising concerns about meeting the practical demands of the PAC. The agreement reached in July was hailed as a major diplomatic milestone amid growing global trade tensions. However, Japanese officials now face the challenge of aligning domestic industries and regulatory systems with the deal's provision, especially under tightening United States tariff frameworks. Ishiba's remarks reflect mounting pressure on Japan's leadership to balance economic diplomacy with implementation realisms. And we'll move away from that story. South Korea has clarified that its $350 billion United States dollars trade-linked investment pledge with the United States will involve minimal equity exposure. In a televised statement on Sunday, Senior Presidential Policy Director Kim Yong-byum said less than 5% of the amount will be direct capital investment, with the remainder structured as loan guarantees to minimize financial risk. The investment initiative, announced as part of South Korea's new trade agreement with Washington, aims to back pre-approved commercially viable American projects. The move is seen as a strategic effort to strengthen bilateral economic ties while addressing domestic criticism over the scale and potential liabilities of the commitment. Now, Switzerland has tightened its Schengen visa documentation policy, introducing stricter rules that now limit submission strictly to items listed on the official checklist. The new directive, enforced by VFS Global, the official visa processing partner of the Swiss embassy, has raised concerns among applicants with non-traditional financial backgrounds. Applicants can no longer submit additional or explanatory documents such as property papers, tax returns, investment records, or financial letters. Materials commonly relied upon by freelancers, retirees, digital nomads, and self-employed individuals to strengthen their cases. The update also affects bank statements. VFS Global will now accept only the first 3 and last 3 pages from the past 3 months' statements. Any pages in between, regardless of content, will be excluded from the consideration. And now we'll be taking another break. We'll return with more stories. The World News continues after now. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
At the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission: empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, and monitoring and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. For more information, email us at info@adstudiescenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website www.adstudiescenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
You are still watching the world news here on Souq News Television, and we'll bring you more stories. Glad you never left. United States President Donald Trump has confirmed that his special envoy Steve Witkoff will visit Moscow this week for critical talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This diplomatic outreach comes ahead of a fast-approaching deadline set by the United States for Russia to show concrete steps towards ending the war in Ukraine or face new sanctions. Trump said nuclear submarines had also been deployed in the region, raising international concerns over potential escalation. The Kremlin welcomed the upcoming visit, calling it important and substantial, but expresses concern over Trump's recent nuclear rhetorics. Trump warned that failure to reach a peace deal could trigger sweeping secondary tariffs on Russia's key trade partners, including China and India. Despite Trump's pressure, Russian forces continue their military campaign in Ukraine, while President Putin maintained that Russia's core demand, including territorial claims and NATO exclusion, remains unchanged. And away from that story, Canada is pushing for a breakthrough in trade talks with the United States after fresh tariff took effect on August 1st. Canadian Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc confirmed ongoing high-level discussions, noting that Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Donald Trump are expected to speak within days. LeBlanc emphasized the potential for a negotiated deal to ease tariff pressures and stabilize investor confidence, as both sides remain engaged despite missing the initial deadline. The Canadian government views the talks as critical, especially as key sectors face mounting export costs under Trump's revised tariff system. LeBlanc also announced his plans to directly engage with United States Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Canada hopes to secure tariff reductions or exemptions to protect strategic industries and maintain its trade competitiveness under the evolving United States trade framework. Still on the news, gold price has been predicted to reach $3,500 in the next 3 months amid deteriorating U.S. economic indicators, raising inflationary pressures and intensifying geopolitical risks. In a note released Monday, Citi raised its 3-month gold price target to $3,500 per ounce, up from its previous estimate of $3,300. It also widened its expected trading range to $3,300 to $3,600 compared to the earlier projection of $3,100 to $3,500. U.S. growth and tariff-related inflation concerns are set to remain elevated during second half 2025, which, alongside a weaker dollar, are set to drive gold moderately higher to new all-time highs. And now the European Union is preparing for executive actions from United States President Donald Trump this week that will formalize reduced tariffs on European cars and grant exemptions on key industrial goods, including aviation components. According to sources close to the matter, these measures follow a recent agreement reached between Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Both sides are also expected to issue a joint political statement reaffirming last month's commitment aimed at easing trade tensions. The precise legal structure of the United States actions remains undetermined, but European officials are closely watching for formal implementation steps to avoid potential economic disruptions. Now let's bring you some sport-related stories. Nigeria extended their dominance in Africa women's basketball on Sunday, defeating Mali 78-64 in Ivory Coast to win a record 5th consecutive FIBA AfroBasket women's title. The triumph not only cemented their dominance over the continent, but also broke Senegal's 4-in-a-row streak from 1974 to 1981, establishing Nigeria as the fourth side in history to win the championship 5 times consecutively. Nigeria, who have now won 7 African titles, wasted no time asserting themselves. The Tigers surged to a 12-0 scoring run early in the game, establishing a rhythm that Mali struggled to disrupt. Still on sport, Nigeria's Super Eagles B team begins its 2025 African Nations Championship campaign on Tuesday, August 5, with a crucial group stage clash against Senegal. While CHAN excluded foreign-based players, the tournament offers domestic league talents a valuable spotlight for professional elevation and club transfers. A successful run could enhance the commercial viabilities of the Nigeria Professional Football League through talent visibility and sponsorship interest. The team's performance is also seen as a soft power asset for Nigeria's football economy. Now, Galatasaray, foreign champion of Turkey, have launched a special edition collector's fan box to celebrate their €75 million signing of Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen from Napoli. The club has released 100,000 units of the Solo Il Gala Osimhen box at €215 each, targeting €21.5 million in merchandise revenue. The box contains a custom jersey, a symbolic mark styled after Osimhen's signature face gear, a thin scarf, exclusive digital content, and a personal message from the player. The initiative is part of Galatasaray's broader commercial strategy to boost income beyond domestic broadcasting rights, which contributes just €18 million. Last season, the club earned €85 million from shirt sales and now projects commercial revenues of €150 million. Club president Dursun Özbek called on fans to support the historic campaign, saying every purchase of the Osimhen's box help write history and fund the forward's €15 million annual salary. And that's a wrap on the news, but before we leave, a quick recap of today's top stories. SAC Director General has called for a unified West African regulatory framework to prevent cryptocurrency fraud. Upstream petroleum regulators said Nigeria holds 220 idle oil blocks amid debt. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo fosters peace through trade and economic integration. President Trump threatens tariffs on Russia, sends envoy to Moscow for talks. And lastly, the Tigers crushed Mali 78-64 defeat in a record 5th consecutive FIBA AfroBasket women's title. I will say many thanks for watching. That's the news this afternoon. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souq News Television. My name is Grace Komalafe. Do have a good afternoon.